Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills. This is Logan Burgess. Today is May 31st, Thursday. Typically an export sales report day, but that's been postponed till Friday due to the Memorial Day weekend. Markets were down a little bit this morning. Corn is now trading up 1.5, trading at 5.61. Soybeans down 24, though really the leader to the downside, trading at 13.48.5, and wheat down only 3.5, trading at 6.50 1/4. We did see some disappointing outside market news. We saw ADP employment numbers come out, which is typically a leading indicator to the Friday government employment report, and that was disappointing. We also saw first quarter GDP for the U.S. Come out slightly disappointing at 1.9% versus 2.2%, which seemed to be estimated. So that was disappointing, but even though we were on the lower side of analyst estimates, it sure beats being in the euro. We see the dollar up here this morning, and that's putting pressure on the grains on the whole. I think the big thing that people are focusing on right now, obviously, is weather. Logan, can you give us an overview of what's going on today, and what are we looking at going forward?
Yeah. Well, I think another thing helping move the grains lower, as you were saying, is kind of the weather situation. Right now, this is a map provided by Planalytics. This basically shows precipitation across the U.S. here today, and as you can see, we're going to be getting some sizable moisture in some key growing areas of the Corn Belt. Half an inch to an inch of rain there in southwestern Iowa. That's certainly going to help those guys out. Another thing to keep an eye on here is that we've been hearing some reports out of the field of the winter wheat harvest down in Oklahoma. It sounds like that crop is really looking good coming out of the fields there. They are going to be getting some moisture though, so hopefully that doesn't slow down harvest for producers down in that neck of the woods. But really, I think what people need to keep an eye on here is how far we are behind on soil moisture and precipitation from what we typically see at this time in the year here. As you can see here, the yellow line is the 10-year average for both Illinois and Iowa soil moisture here. Iowa on the top, Illinois on the bottom here. And as you can see, the blue bars are what we've seen this April here. Well behind where we typically see moisture at this, or soil moisture at this time of the year. And on top of that, precipitation really hasn't materialized here. If we look at the right column here, that's actually showing precipitation well below the 10-year average. We've been hearing from producers on the ground out there. They really are in need of rain, and we kind of saw that reflected in the crop condition report last week with the good, excellent rating on that corn crop coming back 5%. We're really going to need to get some rain early in June if we're going to be able to get trendline yield out of this crop this year. So that's certainly something to keep in mind. I think people are really worried about this corn crop. That's why we're seeing corn have a relative strength with respect to soybeans here in the early going. Another thing kind of dragging down soybeans, though, is news out of China. What are we seeing on that front?
Well, I think crushing margins continue to be disappointing, right, and really don't show any signs of improvement. China sold some soybeans out of their stocks there, and they didn't sell as much, and they sold for well under what the market was pricing. Right. So really, that's going to be a concern going forward when we're looking at our exports to China, as China is a major purchaser of our soybeans.
Right, absolutely. Well, we'll keep you posted here on the macro and the weather front as we move through the trade day here on Twitter. At GrainTV is where you can find us. I think that kind of wraps up our show here for Thursday morning, Cody. Thanks a lot for joining us on GrainTV. Have a great rest of your day.